Okay, let's back to from where we have started. So basically, my student table in the Jamia Hamza database, it basically contains real number at column number 1, enrollment number at column number 2, name at column number 3, age at column number 4, course at column number 5, and semester at column number 6. And as we have seen in our code in the last class, we have selected start from students. That means all the columns are being selected and all the rows are being selected, every data is being selected, but we choose to print only column number 1 and column number 2, which happens to be the serial number as well as the enrollment number of the table. We will get into detail of each and every statement in a while. This is just to give an idea. So that's why you can see the output as only serial number and the enrollment number being printed, and nothing more than that. So I told you that for this purpose, once we write the code, all these interfaces are going to give you basically a kind of error, just like you used to get in the case of a servlet. When you write a servlet, then you get all the classes are not could not be found until unless you add servlet-api.jar file to your build path. Similarly, here also what I have done is, you can see MySQL connector MySQL-connector-java .8.0.19.jar file is added to the build path, and I have shown you in the last class that you have to basically right click on the project, you have to go to the properties, you have to go to the Java build path, and under the libraries, because it is already there, if I just remove it, let me add it again, you have to go for add external jar, and this is the Tomcat folder. I need the MySQL folder. So basically I will go to C drive, and basically in C drive you will find two program files. One is the normal program files and one is the program files x86. In the 32-bit machine you will just find program files x86. So for 32-bit machine, people who have 32-bit machine, they need not to worry. But for 64-bit machines, which are the newer machines which are coming from last 5-6 years, so you will typically find two folders. There is a MySQL folder in both these program files, but you have to choose the x86 version of the program files. You have to get inside it, go for MySQL folder. Here you can see MySQL folder is here, MySQL folder, and then you see these are the different connectors. This is the connector for .NET, this is the connector for Java. Now I will go for the connector, the Java connector, and this is the one that I need to select and then press the open button, and it appears into my build path, and once I say OK, it is there. So this is one step that you need to do before you run any of the programs. Let me see if any questions are there. Okay. Now coming back to my test connection class. Now this is a simple class. It doesn't have to do anything with the web application. It's a simple class, and it happens to be in the test package. As you can see, package test is the first line of the code, then there are imports, and there is a main method inside it. Now this main method is the one which I can run either from because of the presence of this main method, I can take this particular code to the command prompt, and I can compile it from there, and I can run from there using Java interpreter, or I can directly just click the run button and it will execute. So the first thing that I do is I create a connection object, connection con, a reference variable, and initially that is pointed to null. That means I don't have any object to basically refer with the con reference variable, and then everything goes within the try and the catch block. So that means the statements that are coming forward have a lot of chances that they can throw different exceptions. So initially I have used the exception E, otherwise rather I should have done something like this, catch, sorry, SQL exception E, and then let me print this over here. So any exception that is coming from the SQL operations, that is basically should be caught separately, and that is why we have imported this SQL exception over here. And apart from that, if anything else comes, I am just catching it inside the exception. So the first line, that is class.forName, it has got a string under double quotes, and that's com.mysql.jdbc.driver. So it's the name of a driver, is the name of a class, and the fully qualified name of this driver class is com.mysql.jdbc.driver. That means it's in the inside the package there is a folder com, then inside this folder there is a folder mysql, then there is a folder jdbc, and inside that you will find driver.class file. And this particular class file you can find where? Can you type down in the chat box? Where can I find that driver class? Guys, I am audible? Okay, so my question was, as you can see, this is the name of the class, com.mysql.jdbc.driver. So where should I hope to get this particular class? Where should it be? Chandra Bitlani, in the COM package. In which COM package? Where this COM package will come? I mean, this whole structure of the class, from where I can get them? The systems of Java installation? No, not in the Java installation. In the driver manager. Driver manager itself a class, a separate class. Anuj Razdan. In JDBC is the API that basically allows you to connect. It contains interfaces as well as class. So the interfaces are basically implementations, the specifications only. Connection means MySQL connector. Yeah, Mohammad Aman has said MySQL connector. So basically the connector that I have just put in my class path. In the MySQL folder, I have used this connector, MySQL-connector Java 8.0.19.jar file. This jar file is, as you know, jar is a Java archive file, right? So it contains a lot of classes, and those classes contains the implementation of whatever is left over, like the connection interface, the result set, the statements, as well as lots of other classes. So one of the implementation is also this driver class implementation, and as you can see right from the directory structure itself, the package, it says com.mysql. That means it's not from Java people. Otherwise it would have been, even if it would have been a specification, it would have started with Java or Java X something, right? So it says, for example, the first import says Java so given by the Java people, .sql that is related to SQL, and then the connection, which is the interface, right? So here the whole package name is com.mysql.jdbc.driver. That means it should have come from the MySQL, that is the vendor, and within that MySQL it's something about the JDBC, and as the name indicates, driver is the one who basically takes the control, takes the charge. Now this driver class is the one who is going to take the charge of converting your statements and communicating it to the MySQL server, and then getting the result from MySQL server and returning it back to you. So the driver is something which is standing on the side of MySQL server. So this driver class you are going to use to basically communicate with the MySQL server from your Java code. Got it? So as I told you that this connector is basically the one which is having this driver class. So let me go to a separate directory. I have created a directory called test in Windows, just to put anything that I require to basically show you. So this is the jar file or the connector, right? I have extracted it. You can just change the name from jar to, you can change it to zip, zip, and then you can extract it. This is what I have done. After extraction, this is the structure that I have got: com, MySQL, JDBC, and the driver. So the package name com.mysql.jdbc.driver, driver.class. So does it not match with the name of the string that you provided over here? You guys are with me till this point? Okay. So two things are clear now. One is that this driver class is the one which is basically going to stand in the front of the SQL server which is running in the background of my machine, and everything that I want to talk with the SQL server from a Java code will be communicated through this driver class. The other thing is that this driver class is passed as a string in a method that is called as for name of something which is class. So class dot for name, and within this method I am passing a string, right? So if you open your connector, you will see exactly the same class available over there, and in fact the implementation of all the interfaces also, like the connection, result set, and the statement, everything you can find inside the same packages. Okay. Now so basically this whole code, if I talk in terms of how this is going to connect to the database and how the query is executed and how the communication is made to the database, so you can say that this particular code has been divided into several steps. And this first line, that is class.forName, and then you are passing under double quotes com.mysql.jdbc.driver, this particular line is basically called as, this step is called as, you are basically trying to register the driver class. You are registering the driver class, right? So that is the first step. So you can expect a question in the exam that please give the steps to connect to a database. So these are the steps that you need to basically outline or basically provide. So this is the first step. Then the second step is getting the connection or creating the connection. you can say create the connection. Then the third step is basically create the statement object. Then on the fourth step, you are here with execute the query, and the fifth and the last step is basically when I come to the con.close, and here I would write it as the fifth step, which is closing the connection, right? In between, I can say there is a hidden step. If I want to write it, I can write it over here, say a hidden step that I did not mention, and that is basically processing the result. So here processing the result means I am getting the result, I am trying to print it on the console. So that is how I am processing. I could have choose to create a web page if it would have been a web application and send it back to the client in the form of a table. That would mean some processing over there. Or I can have chosen to create a PDF file with all the data to be sent as a report to the managerial team, and that would have been meant as a processing the result in that case. So there could be different cases, like whatever you do with the result, that is what you mean by processing the result. So these are the typical 5 steps which are basically meant to connect to the database and communicate with the database. So the first step is register the driver class. So I told you what is the driver class, and then basically it simply means that I am just passing the name of the fully qualified name of the driver class in the for name method of the class. So probably this must be something strange for you, because you are very much familiar with the keyword class as it appears in brown color, and that's a keyword to basically declare a class. But when you see a capital class, now it's different. It's different in the sense that, as the syntax indicates, the for name, as you can see, it's the name of a method because I am passing an argument to it. I am passing a string argument to it. It's the name of a method, and that method is being invoked directly on something which is not an object. So you are calling this method on something which is not an object, so it must be the name of the class, and this for name method must be a static method, right? So for name method must be a static method, and class with the capital C is actually the name of a class. So let's open this for name method. I have not attached source, so you cannot of course see the see, this is where you get the Java source code. I am trying to attach the source code so that I can just see the code of class.class. So just like you have got animal.class, you have got string.class. Similarly, there is a class.class, right? The class with the capital C. So that itself is a class, and you can have the whole source code available over here. And then you can search for the method, that is the for name method, and you can see what that for name method is basically doing is Control F, for name, this is the documentation for name, and you can see this for name method is over here, and it's a static method. It's a static method. So because this is a static method, you can easily basically call this method over the class with the capital C class. Any doubt so forth? Yeah, this particular code I will share you. I will share you this code which I am teaching, and then rest of the code basically you will have to type on yourself just by looking at the videos. So whatever source code that I type or I create basically to demonstrate you, I will share that. Please, questions, you can go with the doubt section for the questions. That will be more comfortable. Repeat the class part. Okay. See, Anuj, in fact many of the people might have been for the first time that they have seen such kind of structure in Java. So basically this class file that you are seeing is the part of the reflection APIs. There is something called as reflection APIs. So that's a very interesting thing to learn, and why I'm putting an emphasis on it, because in most of the tutorial you will just see a single line written over here, register the driver class, and that's it. They just wind it up with it. So they will just tell you that the whole purpose of this particular line is to basically load this driver class with the fully qualified name com.mysql.jdbc .driver, is to dynamically load this driver class to be used while you communicate with the database, and that's it. They will end up by saying this. So they are true on their part. This particular method for name of the class is basically dynamically loading the driver class for you, right? Because you want to communicate to the database. So the definition of this particular class must be in the memory. This class must be loaded. So the class loader is something which comes into picture over here. The class loader is the entity of the JVM which basically loads every class that you require even before you require, that is being loaded in the memory. So when you say you are trying to compile and then run this test connection, say Java test connection, so all these imports, every entity, every object that you have used in the in this particular test connection class, and all the imports and the classes which appear in those imported classes, they all are put into the memory even before they are used by the class loader. So class loader is basically which is going to put into the memory the definition of all these classes even before they are being used. So it works like a tree. So you start with test connection. So it will first look for all the imports that are in the test connection, and it is going to load the definition. The basically class loader is going to load the definition of the connection, driver manager, result set, SQL exception statement, everything over there. It will load the definition of this test connection itself. What are the methods it is having, on what are the variables that it is having, everything will be loaded, and then it will load every other thing or any other object that you are basically using from within this test connection class, as well as these entities which are important. So this forms a kind of tree like a structure of objects within objects and so on, and this whole tree structure is loaded by the class loader in the memory even before you start running this test connection object. So basically you could have done one thing, that instead of writing this particular line over here, you could have just said something like this: import, right? You can see it's a valid statement. It's a valid statement. You can import the same class, but instead of importing it, you are passing it into a method for name which is a part of the class. right? You are passing it to a class with capital C, a method which for name which belongs to the class capital C. You are passing this particular class name, fully qualified class name, to that particular method. And what this method does is, most of the tutorials the books will say that it's going to load this particular class dynamically at the runtime for you. So what I put over here in the import, that's a static loading of the classes. That means when you start to run, when you want to run this test condition class, at the same time, even before you start running this test condition class, these particular classes are already in the memory put by the class loader. But this particular class will not be loaded in the memory until unless you reach this statement, and this statement is executed. So that means at the runtime, it will look for this particular driver class, and because it's available in the class path, that is in the build path, you have added the library, it will go there. If there is any library which is added in my project, it will find the JDBC driver library over there, the character library over there, and then it will look for this particular package structure, that is this particular folder inside that, and will see whether the driver class, driver.class is available over there or not. The bytecode of the driver class is available over there or not. If it is available, it is going to load the definition dynamically at the runtime, not beforehand. So this is what we mean when we say we load this driver class dynamically, and here whatever you are seeing in the imports, they are being loaded statically. I mean, they are not they are preloaded even before you run the test condition class. Got it? Okay, so till this point it is okay. Now my question is, this driver class is being loaded dynamically, and whereas the step says it is registering the driver class, and I told you that this driver class is going to be used as the frontline communicator of the MySQL server. So what I mean when I say at one point I am saying that it's being loaded dynamically to be used, as well as the step name is that it is basically registering the driver class. So there is a difference between these two. So why do I say register the driver class? Instead I would have just said it's loading the driver class dynamically, and that's it. So what do you think? Why would I write register the driver class, in fact, instead of writing it just loading the driver class dynamically? Let me type in the chat box, that will be more clear for you to understand. So class dot for name method, the for name method of the class is basically used to load the driver class from the connector dynamically. So this statement is clear. By the class loader. Okay, so we have the class loader goes by two ways. One is the static loading of the classes definition, and the other is the dynamic loading of the definition of the classes, right? Before we run the object, before we run the classes, or before we create the object of the classes, we need the definition of the classes to be in the memory. So class loader is the entity which is part of the JVM which basically does this for you, right? So when I say class dot for name and pass the fully qualified name of the class, that means I want to load that class while the code start execution and not even before the class the code executes, unlike the case of import. ठीक है? Then my question is, why the step says that it's about registering the driver class? This is what we have written, right? Register the driver class. So why basically we say that the step is about registering the driver class? Okay, Rajdeep Bharti says it first registers with the driver manager. That's correct. What does it mean by register? What does it mean by registering? Okay, we have seen RMI registry. No, Rajdeep. Creating a connection is a different thing. That's the next step. Loading into memory is again a different thing. That is the work of the class loader. What was the purpose of RMI registry? See, to be very clear, loading into the memory is the purpose of the class loader. So while you are loading into the memory, the two steps are combined. You are saying that you are loading into the memory and actually you are registering the driver class. So the step indicates you are registering the driver class, whereas the for name method is basically to load dynamically into the memory. So what is the linkage between these two? Of course, loading is a different thing and registering is a different thing. Anuj Goel says it to the particular resource is available or not. To some extent I can agree with you. Binding. Mohammad Aman is there. Binding. Basically this is what you have done in the RMI registry. You have provided a name to an object and that name could be used to use again and again to basically use that object. So basically it's a binding. Registry means you allocate a name against some resource, right? So you register a resource against a name and that name could be used again and again, right? So just like RMI registry was the application which was acting as a registry for RMI, the registry which is maintained in the case of a database is managed by something called as driver manager class. So you have got a driver class and then you have got a driver manager class. So driver manager class, as you can see in your code, this driver manager class, it's a complete class. It's a class, right? It's a class. And the implementation is already provided by the Java people. So it's there. Okay. So it's there. So this is going to basically maintain the record of what all drivers you have provided and what driver you want to use as of now. So that means the purpose of this loading this driver at the runtime or dynamically is that in this line I can load the driver for MySQL connection, and in the next attempt, even in the same code, if I do something like that, class dot for name, and then provide under double string, I'm just writing the syntax, the fully qualified name of the driver class for Oracle database, right? So now up till here, up till this point of time, what was happening was that basically the driver class that was in charge to communicate with the server belongs to the MySQL database, and our communication was totally on MySQL with the MySQL database. But if I load dynamically another if we give a name of another driver class, that is basically the part of the connector of the Oracle database libraries, and that is loaded dynamically over here, then that will get registered, and that means from now on that will be used for the communication. So I can have a code written to basically select anything from MySQL database, and in the same class basically I can write a code to pass it on to insert the same values to the Oracle database. But for the same for that purpose I will have to load dynamically two different driver classes. So do you understand the purpose of loading it dynamically? Let me delete it. Guys, do you understand why we are going with a dynamic loading of the driver class and not with the static loading? Hello. Am I audible? So my question is, I told you if I put anything in the import, that would have been a static loading of the class, whereas I choose this class.forName method to basically load the class dynamically, and the purpose to load dynamically is to have me the option to basically switch the driver class anytime I like from one database to the other database, right? Even the most realistic application of it is, say for example, the database that I am using today as of now. Now this particular name that you see as a string, this particular name basically is never hard coded. This is never hard coded in real applications. They come from some of the text file like a XML file or a property file, right? So say for example there is a application, say my application is, say for example, admissions portal. So in the admissions portal there will be one file, say for example let me name it as admissions.properties. Now this file is going to keep the couple of key and value pair, and the key says for example as the driver name, and that equals to com.mysql.jdbc driver, right? Now because this MySQL is a lot free, and initially for my application it is doing very good, but with the course of time my application grew wonderfully and I started getting lots of it. So in that case I need to scale up my application, which much faster processing and much faster response time. In that case I need to handle lots of data, so probably I will choose to switch to a proprietary server. I am willing to pay for that, and I will get the whole of Oracle. I will buy the purchase the license for the Oracle database, and in that case I will be willing to switch to the Oracle database from then onwards. So I will just made that particular entry in the text file to be pointing to the driver which is available in the connector connector library of the provided by the Oracle. And then my code, this particular string will be picked from that particular text file and that will be changed. So just one entry and I will just restart the application server, or maybe in most of the cases I do not even need to restart the application, just I will refresh the application in some sense, or redeploy the application in some sense, and it is basically going to pick up the new driver for me dynamically at the runtime. There is a doubt. For static loading, can we use the driver manager dot register driver? Okay, I will show you what is a register driver method over here. It is also used to load the driver. Okay, I will just come to it. Okay, can database be switched at runtime by the user? Yes, they can switch. They can be switched at the runtime. You change the name of the driver class, and then you can change. Of course, you can change the database, because driver class is the one which is basically interacting with the database. So how to do sharing of shading of database? I am not getting this. You may, Rajdeep, you can rewrite your question. Okay, so to understand this mystery, why we call this register the driver class, I told you it's basically maintaining a log of the database, the driver class which is being used as of now. So let's we will have to basically look into the source code of the driver class, and then we will be able to understand how this dynamic loading is related with the registering the driver class. So I told you in if I go to this test, and here is the extracted version of this connector, which is com.mysql, and then you have JDBC, and then you have a driver class over here, right? Now the source code I have downloaded from the net. Earlier it was available in very easily from the MySQL site. It is still available. The source code is available, but basically the source code is available in the RPM format, so you will need to basically convert it to something which extract it, and then you can see the source code. So I have downloaded from one of the sources, and you can see this is the SRC, the source. Basically it's from the GitHub of MySQL. So the SRC is here. So this is SRC is the source code of the connector, the Java connector. So you go to the user API, and then Java com MySQL, okay, CJ. This is actually a different version of source code that I have downloaded. Okay, let me go to this folder com.mysql.cj. CJ is something which is coming in between. I will tell you the mystery of the CJ. Assume that it's just com.mysql.jdbc. Okay, and then you have just hold on. Then you should have the driver class over here, Java. Just hold on. I have downloaded from the net, so I'm not very much familiar which version it's using. Okay, see, com.mysql.jdp. This is the driver class, and actually the source code that I have downloaded is for some different version. So in that case, I'm not getting exactly the same structure. JDBC. And because it is taken from the GitHub, so that's also one of the reason why it's having a different structure, because in the GitHub it's basically a Maven project. Legacy. Okay, here you have got, it comes under the legacy folder, and there is a reason why it is coming under the legacy folder. So this is the driver class. This is the driver class, and inside the driver class there is a static block. There is a static block, right, inside the driver class. Now what is a static block? See, this is something which is very deep, and the reason why I am telling you is because this is one of the very good interview question. Interviewer can, if you say you know JDBC, it will basically dig you to the depth of this particular single line, and it will come, and you will come to know that whether you are able to okay, Rajdeep has given me the GitHub source code, right? Yeah, legacy. Yeah, it's the legacy. That is what I was searching for. So why I am discussing this is basically is because this is the very much core part of the Java. And when you say Java, then if you are able to answer such questions, definitely you will be having a very, very extreme edge. So these are the very strong questions of the interview. If you are able to answer them, you already there to build your reputation in front of the interviewer. So that's why I am trying to make you understand all this technicality. So when you know something, you should know it in proper depth. So I have opened the source code of this driver class, and then in the driver class what I can see is there is basically a static block. This is the total code. This is the total code of the driver class, right? And what does it say is public driver throws SQL exception. This is the constructor, and then there is a static block. Now what is a static block? Any ideas? What is the static block? Ahmed Faraz says static block is a set of instructions which can run only once when a class is loaded into the memory. So we have got three kind of static elements. One is the static method, the other is the static variable, and the third is the static block. And of course we have got static imports, which is added later in the later versions of the Java. So static import is altogether a different thing, or although the word static comes into picture over there, but basically when we talk in terms of static in nature, then these three things comes into picture: the static block, the static method, and the static variable. So static method and static variables are something which could be used directly on the name of the class, right? And they are associated with the class at the level of the class. That means they are not associated with any of the object that you create, but rather they are associated with the level of the class. That means they are the part of the class itself. That's why you are able to basically run a particular code directly. So static, just using the class name. So static block is something which is not a method. Some code is written in the form of a block, as you can see over here, it's a block, plain block, starting with the static keyword, and then it has a curly braces to start with and curly braces to end with. That's it. And it has got some code. So it's not a method. And the static block basically means that as soon as your driver class is loaded by the class loader, not even the object has been created, just the definition of the class has been loaded by the by the class loader into the memory even before it is being used. This static block is executed automatically. Okay, so if we see the steps, what happens with a class is that the first thing that happens is the class is loaded in the memory by the class loader even before it is used. Then the static blocks takes the charge, it is executed. Then if you like, you can create an object of the particular class which is already loaded and the static block has been executed, and while you create the object, the constructor runs automatically. So just like the constructor runs automatically at the time of creation of the object, similarly this static block runs at the time of the loading of the class by the class loader. So this runs automatically. Are you with me up till now? Okay, so cool. Yeah, static block is not a method. You don't say it a method. It's just a block that runs at the time of the loading of that particular class, right? So you can see the particular message that's written in the static block of this driver class. And what is that message? System.err.println. You have got system.out.println. Normally what you use when you use err, whatever you print, that goes to the console just in the form of a red colored output, right? I think you are aware of it. And the message is loading class com.mysql.jdbc.driver. This is deprecated. The new driver class is com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Then the message is further stated: the driver is automatically registered via the SPI, and manual loading of the driver class is generally unnecessarily. So have you seen this particular message anywhere up till now in my class? This is coming from the driver class, the static block of the driver class. So as soon as you try to load this driver class, have you seen this message anywhere? Where? MFRA says yes, he has seen. Where have you seen it? In the compilation. Basically, when we were trying to execute the code, when we try to execute this particular code, Control S, let me save it, and when we execute it, you see we have executed, and this particular line came over here: loading class my com.mysql.jdbc driver. This is deprecated. The new driver class is. It's the same message that is coming from there, right? It's coming from the static block. Now, what does this particular message means? It says the class com.mysql.jdbc.driver is deprecated. Normally, deprecated term is basically used with the APIs, with the Java APIs, the method calls or the classes. And what they mean, if I want to use those methods or classes in the IDE, that is in the Eclipse or NetBeans, you will see it will appear with a strikeout line, and that would mean that this particular API, the method or the class, although you are using it and it's working, it is compatible, but it should not be used because another version of the API is already available which performs better in some sense. So basically, when you say something is deprecated, it means it is workable, but it is advised that you should not use that. Instead, something else has come, and you should use that particular API or that particular entity which is being talked about. So here also it's saying loading class com.mysql.jdbc.driver, and this particular driver class is deprecated. The new driver class is com.mysql.cj, the new package name. With the new package name, CJ comes into picture in between. That means the directory structure changes to something CJ in between coming into picture, and then jdbc.driver. So this should be used instead, not this one. So if I just change my code here from this CJ mysql.jdbc to mysql.cj.jdbc, and let me run it again, you see that particular message goes away, right? That particular message goes away. No, Ahmed Faraz, the connector is not old, connector is new. That's why it is also having the driver class under the cj.jdbc package as well. To maintain the backward compatibility, the older driver class is also available, but the new driver class basically lets you know by telling you that it's deprecated. Yeah, that's a legacy version. That's why I was looking into the legacy folder. Okay, so now it means that my focus should shift from com.mysql.jdbc.driver to the class com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver class. And now let's get into the code of this this new driver class, and let's see what it has to say, what it has to tell me about the mystery of between loading the driver class dynamically and between the terms registering the driver class. So let's go to this particular class. Again, I will go to the source code of this connector, and now I will choose to go to the main, and then under the user API I will go to Java user API, because this API is basically meant for the user, right? And I have directly pulled it from the GitHub, so they have different structure altogether. But the directory structure of the package that starts from com, and it's intact. So you start with com MySQL. Now you have got CJ, and then you have got JDBC, and then you and com MySQL CJ JDBC, and then it should be having a driver class over here. Is it into some different API? User API, no. Okay, just hold on. Where it is? Let me find it out. SRC main user implementation Java com MySQL CJ JDBC. Yeah, in the user implementation folder you will find it. com.mysql.cj.jdbc, and then the driver class. This is the source code of the driver class. And now let's see what is this class actually. So again, the package name, and then it has got it must be having a constructor. It has got a constructor, and again it has got just a static block. So now what this static block basically indicates, what's the purpose of this static block, what it is doing. Can someone look at this particular code and you see the headline, that the comment that they have given is register ourselves with the driver manager. Register ourselves with the driver manager. Right now, this particular code is being executed only after the for name method of the class has dynamically loaded the driver class. And once the driver class is loaded, the first thing that will happen is to the execution of this static block. So dynamically loading the class has already been over by the for name method of the class. The for name is static for name method of the class, and now when this static block is being executed after that, this is actually the registration process that starts. So this particular line serves two purposes. One is, which is very much obvious, that when you use the for name of the class, then you are loading that particular class dynamically. And while we load that class dynamically, the hidden thing that is happening is that class has got a static method. Not every class may have a static method, a static block. Not every class may have a static block, but this class does have a static block, and this static block has the responsibility to do this line, that is register the ourselves with the driver class. Means if you replace this ourselves with the driver, with the name driver, so it is registering the driver class with the driver manager class. So driver manager class, as I told you, is the one which is going to track the record of all the drivers available and which driver to use at a time, at a particular moment of time, which is the most recent one, right? So can someone please explain me this particular bit of code? This is static part of the code. Yeah, Rajdeep, it's in user implementation. Yeah, can someone explain me what is this? This code is actually doing. You can type it into the chat window. So you can see we are just trying to do a complete dissection of a just single line of statement, the first step. Verifying the dynamically loaded driver. No, MS Faraz. Okay, let's do one thing. Rajiv says, okay, we are registering the driver class. Yes, we are registering, of course we are registering the driver class, but I wanted a little more explanation of this bit of code. Rajiv says, whenever driver class object is created, it's automatically passed to the driver manager register class. Okay, it is being passed to driver manager class. Okay, so during the execution, the static block is verified in the loader. Verifying, see, the class is loaded, that means everything is okay with the class, and it's already there. See, what we are doing is, what it is being done over here is basically, it is, as you can see, is creating a new instance of itself, new driver. This is the driver class, and it's creating a new instance of itself, an anonymous object of it. I am not providing it with a name. I am not assigning it to a variable that's anonymous. So I am just creating a new object, and then after the creation of this new object, it is being passed to the registered driver method of the driver manager class. Right? The fully qualified name of the driver manager class is java.sql.driver manager. So this particular piece of code is basically creating a new object of the same class in which the code is written and in which the static block is present, and then that particular object is being passed to the registered driver method of the driver manager class. what this register driver method does is basically it keeps a record of whatever driver which has been recently registered, and from now onwards, if you try to communicate to the database, it must use this particular object to communicate to the database. So whosoever is this object is going to communicate with its respective database. So this driver class is basically meant this is basically com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. This is the fully qualified name of this class. So basically this pertains to MySQL database. So if the object of this particular class is registered with a name in the driver manager class, and whenever driver manager is going to use that name with that reference variable, here the name basically means a reference variable, so it's basically communicating to the driver class of the MySQL database. So whatever we do from now onwards will be basically meant to communicate with the MySQL database. And if we use another class.for name with say for example with the Oracle driver class name over there, and the Oracle connector is in our library, then in that case that particular library will be dynamically loaded at that point of time, and the driver for that particular database will be registered with the driver manager again, and then the driver manager will see that this is the from now onwards I have to use this particular driver to communicate with the database. So driver manager doesn't care which database is sitting in the background, and at the runtime it gets a record of it after it's get loaded by the class.for name, and it keeps a track of it by registering it with itself, and then it is going to use it. Rajiv says whenever driver class object is created, it is automatically passed to the driver manager class. Yes, this is what we have discussed just now. So during the execution of the static block, it is verifying the loader, then checking whether there is an execution or not. If not, then a new object is created. Whether there is an exception or not. I don't understand, Gargi, what you mean by exception. And if that is there is no exception, then a new object is created. That means what? I'm not very clear on what you want to convey. Now maybe you can rephrase the statement in a better way so that I should be in a position to understand. Anyways, guys, so in the whole class, all we have discussed is just one particular statement, and we have discussed this thoroughly, very thoroughly. This one particular statement, that is class.for name, and then we have passed to the class.for name method the complete qualified fully qualified name of the driver class, which belongs to MySQL database, and we call this step as register the driver class, and that's it, right? So I am stopping the lecture over here. Just Google what is this class. You see, when I select this, there is a documentation which is coming over here. Go through this documentation, what this particular entity does, and you will be surprised to know that it's a thing which could be used in a lot of basically applications, like even the IDE, Eclipse IDE that we are using. This Eclipse IDE has got a debug facility, and the debug facility allows you, when you try to debug the code, those who are familiar with the debug feature of the Eclipse IDE, or even with the debug feature of your NetBeans IDE or a similar high level IDEs, they know that at the one time, at one instance, you can see each and every line being executed. At the same time, in a separate box, you will see the value of each and every variable that is being assigned at the runtime, the different values. So how does that particular values are being assessed at the runtime with the name of the object? That everything that comes under the ambit of Reflection APIs And so reflection API is a complete a very small topic, but it has lot to learn because it's really a little complicated. So, and a very interesting thing as well. So just try to Google what is this class with the capital C, and try to understand more about it, right? Try to Google about reflection APIs, you will learn a lot more, and then we will start with rest of the code, and rest of the things will be quite easier. I will not get into much of the detail like this. We will just focus on the subject itself. But I wanted to basically get a detailed discussion of this line, because this is one of the very important question for interviews, and at the freshers level hardly someone will be able to answer this question. So shall we wind up for today's lecture? Okay, so I will do one thing. I will pass this code to your WhatsApp group, to your respective WhatsApp groups, and what I want is I will give you one day. For tomorrow, you try to set up your MySQL. You have got already the video for the installation in the playlist, the temporary playlist that is meant for you. Go through it, install MySQL. You know how to basically mail will be better. I don't know the mail ID. You say give me the mail ID and I will send you on the mail. You can just WhatsApp me the mail ID. I will put over WhatsApp as well as to the mail ID as well. So just share the mail ID with me and I will send it on over the mail. So see, it is for the first time that I am sharing the part of the code with you, and only that part of the code I will be able to share, which basically I have with me, because my system, as I told you, is basically in the office, and so my code is stuck over there. But this never happened that I shared the code directly. Students basically attend the class, they get the screenshots, or they have the thing in the video lectures, they try to type it on their own. And the reason why I make them to type their on their own is because when you type on your own, even though the code is in front of you in the form of screenshots, still you will do the mistakes, and then you will learn a lot from those mistakes, right? There are certain obvious mistakes, like sometimes you will forget the import statements, sometimes you will do some other thing which is basically beyond the code limits. That is because of something wrong with the environment or the your rights of the basically the user that you are connecting with, and so on. So there are a lot of things that happens. Unless and until you try it, you will not be able to learn. If I just provide you the code, very simple it is, and then but you will not going to learn the hard way. So of course, for this particular code I will give you, because this is the initial code, and you can just try running on your machines, and you should be able to basically get assurity that everything is okay on your machine, everything is installed, your code is working, and then you can proceed with the rest of the code by typing on yourself. Okay, so I will give you one day time. So day after tomorrow, that is on Wednesday, we will be meeting at the same time, 3:30, and we will take it from this point of discussion. Okay guys, so you can log off. Thank you very much. Share the mail ID with me and I will send the code on the mail as well, and I will WhatsApp you also.